Since October 2019, Dutch farmers have been protesting mainly by using tractors to block roads to fight against a government proposal to forcibly halve the country's livestock to limit agricultural pollution. It's turned into a bit of a battle between the woke city folk and the traditional farmers. Farmers now demand less government regulation, more media attention, and pro-farmer positions, they say, should get more attention, especially key issues, and more policies to punish big corporations like Shell instead of farmers for the emissions crisis. Only about half of the Dutch people support the farmers. Like most countries in the West these days, politics is polarised and evenly split between progressives and more conservative types. The new conservative and populist farmer citizen movement achieved big wins in the provincial elections in March 2023. And following the Senate elections in May, the same group entered the Senate with 16 seats, becoming the largest party. The left-wing Green Party had 14 seats and the government coalition was left with just 10. So what's the pollution issue in Holland? Well, the soil has very high levels of nitrogen, in particular ammonia, which is released into the air by animal manure. It badly affects the quality of soil, water and air. The government launched a program in 2015 to tackle the problem, and the halving of livestock allowed is the latest step. But like so many green issues, people are wary. They feel it's an attempt to control the farmers and their right to own property and livestock. Legal scholar, political journalist and commentator Eva Vlaardingerbroek is well known to ADH TV viewers from The Mark Steyn Show. She thinks the nitrogen issue is a bit of a smokescreen for EU control over Dutch law, as she explained in a recent interview with Spectator TV's Winston Marshall.
I might get technical for a little bit here, but I think it's important to know. So the Dutch government is basing its nitrogen policies on European legislation, on EU legislation. And that is the Natura or the Nature 2000 regulation from the EU. And that regulation is about designated areas all over Europe that are supposed to be basically natural preserves, that you need to protect. And in the Netherlands, we have 162 of those. And well, anybody who's ever been to my country knows it's, obviously it's very tiny, and we're not really known for our our landscapes or advanced nature there, or 80% of our land is farmland. So, and we're very densely populated. So I'm not surprised, obviously, that we have, compared to other European countries, for example, high nitrogen emissions, because we're such a tiny country and everything is so packed together, and we have a lot of farmland because we are the second largest exporter of agricultural products in the world.
It's second only to the United States, which is as big as Australia. But the Netherlands is just 1/3 the size of Tasmania. Don't mess with the indigenous knowledge. They even have vertical farming. And the average farmer needs 22 litres of water to produce a pound of tomatoes in most countries, but Dutch farmers can do it in about 2 litres. These are the technological world leaders in agriculture.
We've been a farming nation for centuries. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the people that are farmers today, it's not just them, it's their ancestors, their grandparents, their grandparents. So it's knowledge that has built up over centuries, and they are incredibly good at it. They're incredibly efficient, hard workers, and already very technologically advanced. Mm-hmm. So, the Dutch farmers have been renowned to be incredibly sustainable, actually. No farmer wants their land to go bad, especially if otherwise you would miss out on, your income, your revenue, and they wouldn't be producing anymore.
So why is this issue such a big deal? And why does it motivate politicians to want to cut half of the livestock farmers can produce? Eva says it's a pretext for a more sinister agenda.
Land. It's very simple. So the government, like I just said, the Dutch, we're a very tiny country. Mm-hmm. We have a massive population growth due to, for example, immigration. Actually, at this very moment, only immigration, because the natural growth of our country is completely halted. Mm. But we're packed, we have a housing crisis that we do have, mm-hmm. and we need new houses where people can live, but there's no available land. So the government actually says this in a couple of their own in their own reports, when they talk about farmland and when they talk about potential expropriation, they say that they need housing space.
Sounds like a conspiracy theory, but not every conspiracy theory is false.
If you make up a crisis, if you say, well, this is for the benefit of the world, we don't want nature to go bad, it sounds morally, sound. It sounds good. It sounds like you're doing a virtuous thing. So if you convince an entire population or even the entire world that there is a crisis and that, well, we all have to do our part, we all have to give up certain rights in order to solve this, then people will probably be more inclined to politically accept that and even do it.
Am I right in understanding that net migration into the Netherlands is something like 400,000 a year? Is that correct? What's
this year? Yeah, this year it was 400,000.
Which is obviously huge.
Massive, yeah.
But if 80% of the land of the Netherlands is for agriculture, and so only 20% is for the existing population or the rest, you don't need to halve agriculture to obtain land. You only need a small amount of land.
Right.
Even if it's 400,000 people, you don't need that much land.
Yeah, see, you're asking all the rational questions. Yeah. But the fact that to me, their true intent is revealed by asking these types of rational questions and not getting, a rational answer back.